Hi friends, I'm Cheryl. Welcome to my channel. I get asked a lot about natural ways to heal our body. It's something that has been very important to me for many years, and I think I shared in one of my videos before that part of what started me on that journey was my daughter and her health issues. She was a preemie, had a lot of health issues, and as she grew, it became more and more important to try to do things differently and healthier, and learn what that meant. And it led me on a journey to I'm going to share some companies that I've done business with that I found to be, very reliable and actually great companies to work with, and very healthy, natural products. It's by no means an advertisement for them, but I just, I feel like it's important to sometimes know from others, what would you use? What do I recommend? So some of the things that I have done really early on was I felt compelled to look at the products, the cleaning products I was bringing into my home because of her breathing issues. And the chemicals in the air would irritate her lungs and sometimes shut them down. And so I began to look for products that had less chemicals or no chemicals, natural, clean ways to clean. And many people may already know about things like vinegar and lemon, outstanding cleaning agents. I began buying Melaleuca products. That's a company. Melaleuca is a company, and they have all natural products. And I love their cleaning products, and have used those products for about 12 years. And totally got rid of Melaleuca has been 12 years. My daughter is I began using looking for things that were more natural even younger, because she was out of my home not long after I started using Melaleuca. She's an adult, but I was using and looking for things that were natural even before that. Melaleuca was a perfect fit. I wished that I had found it earlier, but I didn't. I am now 100% chemical free in my home. And I've extended that into my health and beauty products. And I use a combination of some Melaleuca, some doTERRA, which is an essential oil company, and I'll talk about essential oils in just a moment, because they are definitely a fabulous way to naturally take care of ourselves. And so those types of things have helped me, even in the health and beauty area, to become more natural. I found that a few years ago, I have kind of naturally thin hair. Some people have this thick, luxurious hair. I have thin hair. It's fine and it's thin, and I love, I'm not complaining. I love my hair, but I did notice after the first time I got COVID that my hair was falling out more. And so I started to look at what could make your hair fall out more, and could it be COVID related? And it could be potentially COVID related. But even if it was COVID related, it's not really COVID related. It's really related to inflammation and virus in our bodies and what is happening with our cells. And so I looked at what could potentially cause hair to fall out. And I learned that in shampoo and conditioner, there are sulfates and parabens, and that sulfates particularly can cause your hair to fall out. And so I decided I needed to find sulfate, paraben-free shampoos. And I have now, for the last year and a half, been using that. And I do find, because every day when I shower, I'm seeing how much hair is coming out. I do see that less hair is coming out than used to come out. Do I still lose some hair? I absolutely do. I think that's a natural thing, that we're going to lose some hair every day. But I do find that I'm using less. Am I satisfied with the shampoos and conditioners? I've used a lot of different ones, and some of them I felt my hair felt very dry, and I did not like them. Some of them I thought were okay. I've been pretty happy with the doTERRA shampoo and conditioner, and they've recently come out with a bar for both, and I've started using the bar. If for that, and that's been very different. When you're used to just pouring something into your hand and lathering up, you have this expectation of what shampooing your hair should look like and feel like, and the bar does give you a different experience. So that would be my one thing that I would say, that's something to consider is, what is it that do you need to feel all that suds in order to feel like your hair is clean? Do I feel like my hair is clean afterwards? Yes. I didn't like the way my hair felt one of the times when I did not blow dry it afterwards, and I actually put it right up, and I felt like the act of putting my hair up while it was wet after using the bar shampoo made my hair feel flat all day. And I think that was probably more from the putting it up than it was from the shampoo, but I'm just giving you my feedback. It does say on the container, this little bar of shampoo is the equivalent of 3 bottles of shampoo. So definitely something that I would think is a wonderful savings. So that's kind of like the way that I migrated for the last 30 years. I migrated more and more towards getting away from chemicals, getting away from things that were not natural. And that at some point in time also affected my food choices. So I began to really look at the foods I was eating, not from I needed to go on a diet perspective, but more from the perspective of what am I putting into my body? If I'm doing these things to try to keep myself healthy on the inside, don't I need to consider the food and the water that I put into my body? And that was really eye-opening. And I know some people's, try to look at labels, and it's just like, I just need to get my food, or I I am on a budget and I can't afford to spend what it's going to cost to buy something different than what I'm buying right now. And I totally get that. And you have to live within your means, and you have to be comfortable with your choices. And what I used to say when I was working with people who might be trying to live a healthier lifestyle and perhaps lose some weight, although I'm not an expert on weight loss by any means, but I had gone through losing a lot of weight myself. And what I had found personally was that if there are your go-to things that when you are stressed and you have no time, you always turn to, then you have to find alternatives that allow you to still do those things. So, as an example, my mother used to make a hamburger casserole, and that became a go-to for me. If I was running short of time or was in a hurry, it was something that I could easily think about and make fairly quickly with little stress. The ingredients for it were mashed potatoes, hamburger meat, tomato soup, and green beans. And so I modified that, and I switched to ground chicken, which is my go-to now instead of ground beef for anything that I used to have ground beef for. And I absolutely love ground chicken. So I switched to ground chicken. I switched to mashed cauliflower. But before I switched to mashed cauliflower, I had been using boxed mashed potatoes when my children were young. And so the first switch I made was to using real potatoes. And then I switched more recently to mashed cauliflower. And I really like the taste that the mashed cauliflower has. I don't like the texture as much as I like potatoes' texture and the creaminess, but I do like the taste, and it has enough creaminess that it makes up for it. I still use tomato soup, and I still use green beans, and I sometimes will buy fresh green beans if I can find them. Otherwise, I buy organic off the shelf in a can. And I buy organic for things that, if they were in the field being cultivated, if the skin of the product is part of what's eaten and would be affected by any chemicals that would have been sprayed or in the dirt, then I look at buying organic for those products. There is no need to buy organic for something that has a skin on it that you're not going to eat the skin, and that it is not porous where what's going to touch the skin is going to go through to the fruit or vegetable inside. In other words, a pineapple with that hard exterior, a coconut with that hard exterior, is not likely to penetrate into the meat inside. So I don't worry about buying organic for something like that. So that's kind of how my journey took me to food. And I would say that as far as boxed, if you can go to produce and not buy boxed foods, do it. If you can buy something that's fresh instead of something that's boxed, with all the preservatives and everything, then I would say try to do that. So those are some of the tips that I've used over the years that have been, on my journey, that I considered in terms of taking my home and making my home a place that felt safe. I also got rid of plastics. The way that they're treated, even when they're recycled, the way that they're treated and end up in oceans and stuff, it just didn't make any sense to me. And so I switched over to glass and to stainless steel. And I've been very happy to do that. It makes me feel, I guess that it makes me feel like environmentally I'm doing whatever I can personally do myself. And that's important to me. So I mentioned about essential oils, and I just have a few. I have well over 100 essential oils. I use them for anything and everything. I have several books on essential oils. I think that the main message I want to give you about essential oils is that one drop of this oil is extremely potent. And I'll give you an example. One drop of peppermint essential oil is the equivalent of 90 cups of peppermint tea. So you might think, well, essential oils are so expensive. And if you are buying them across the counter at a gas station or, a regular store, a grocery store, and you're buying them for cheap, they probably have chemical additives in them that make them not pure and not healthy. An essential oil can't do what it's supposed to do in your body if it's had chemicals added to it. And I'll tell you why. The essential oils, this little thing, this one little drop, has the ability to penetrate the cell membrane. It gets inside your cell. It can repair your cell where the cell needs to be repaired. That is the key to essential oils in my mind. They do for the plants in nature what they are being distilled to do for us in our bodies. And they have properties that, so many properties, I can't even name them all, but the ones that you would be most interested in, antiviral, antibiotic, antibacterial, anti-inflammatory. Those are the ones that I think of immediately. But how about anti-tumoric? Yeah, you can shrink cells that might be tumor growth related, potentially with essential oils. And so many more. So I have several blends that I roll on every day, sometimes several times a day, depending upon what I'm feeling. I never would have thought about an anti-inflammatory blend. That's what this is. But after I got COVID the first time, I was told when I got it the second time, I was told that my body now has an exaggerated anti-inflammatory response, which basically means that when I start to get sick, my inflammatory system overreacts. And so I use this anti-inflammatory blend. I rub it on as a preventative every day. This particular blend has copaiba, aroma touch in it. Fairly simple. I have a cough blend because I also have this tickle that constantly seems to come back, lots of sinus stuff. And I live around a lot of plants that are constantly changing. So this has Breathe, which is a combination of oils that are good for breathing, Digestin, which are good for your digestive system, lime, copaiba again, and that's my cough blend. This happens to be copaiba. This is a member of the CBD family, but it does not have the THC in it. I also highly recommend Adaptive, which is our anti-anxiety blend. And this is amazing. On my pulse points, it just calms me. I get migraines, have for a long time. I usually can use peppermint. I don't think I have a peppermint in here right now. I can usually put peppermint on my temples. And about 15 or 20 minutes after I do that, I'm like, I smell peppermint. And then I'll remember, oh yeah, I put it on, but I don't have a headache anymore, so I forget. Why, right? If my headache goes beyond just a normal headache, there are several things you can do. Copaiba on the thumb, at the roof of the mouth, frankincense on the thumb, at the roof of the mouth. Both of those are fabulous. The roof of the mouth and the soft palate is the fastest way across the blood-brain barrier. It immediately gets into your bloodstream and it immediately gets into your brain where those vascular vessels are constricting and helps open everything up. It's getting into the cells that need it. Frankincense is wonderful for repairing cells. I also will take cedar wood, and this is a layering process, but I rub cedar wood across the back of my neck, just one drop on my hands, rub it in, then frankincense, and then peppermint. And it's a layered. And usually if the headache doesn't get taken away one of those other ways, that will take it away. And I get some pretty severe migraines, and it's taken them away. So those, colds, flu, I have a blend that is called my Z-Pack, and it's a 3-day group of oil blends. The blend changes every day, but you take it in capsules 3 times a day, or 2 times a day for 3 days, and it's like an antibiotic. That's what it is. So I use them for my physical health to not have to take modern medicine. I was on a lot of medicines for a lot of years, and I wasn't getting healthier. And I started using doTERRA, started taking the vitamins every day, and the probiotic, pre and probiotic, and the Terrazymes for my digestive enzymes. That's what I took every day. And after about 6 months of doing that, I took myself off of all of my prescription medicines. And then I went to see my doctor, and he was not happy that I had done that. So I don't recommend you doing that necessarily. I was being very rebellious. But he did my blood work, and this was in 2017, 2017. So 5 years ago. He did my blood work, and my blood work was normal, completely normal for the first time since 1993. So something had changed in my body. And the only thing that was different was my using essential oils and the vitamins that came from doTERRA that have that essential oil base. So just saying. I've not had any major health issues since that time. Except that I did have my gallbladder out, and I wish that I hadn't, because I now see an alternative medicine doctor, and he does acupuncture, and he assures me he could have taken care of it without my having my gallbladder removed. And I wish that I didn't have my gallbladder removed, because it causes other issues that I have to then mediate. So I don't only use essential oils for my physical health, I also use it for my emotional health and my spiritual health. And I want to share with you that this is one of the things that I do. I do create blends of oils that I mix with crystals because I am a huge crystals fan. Yes, I am. I use them for many, many things because they have a vibration and they raise the vibration in our bodies. And I'm just going to show you. This is some of my crystals. I have a lot more. But this is amethyst, which is really good for intuition. It's also really good for relaxation. And in this particular oil blend, this is an amethyst roller even on it. And I have Adaptive, which is the anti-anxiety blend. So this is a perfect anti-anxiety oil blend. And there are also, hi there. Hi. There are also really cool things that you can do, like singing bowls. I'm really bad with it. I love it, but I like it when other people do it. I have my drum. I'm not great with the musical things, but I love them. I love what they can do for my vibration. I highly recommend that you clear your space using sage or Palo Santo or any of the other things that are called smudges. Palo Santo is a wood. It's got a very sweet, musky kind of scent. This is one of my bundles of sage. And when you clear your space, one of the things you want to do, particularly if you haven't ever cleared your space before, is start in all the corners and just let that smoke waft into the corners and have it remove the negative energy that's hanging in those corners that can affect you and that affects your health. So those were the main things I think I wanted to talk about today, but I want to end by just pulling okay, so I know how I want to end. I want to end with this relaxation exercise that I have in my Central Healing Tarot deck. And to do this exercise, you want to shake your hands as vigorously as you can. And if it's the first time you're doing it, I say 30 seconds. But you want to try to get up to a minute or even 2 minutes. And so let's start. Stay with me. Are you shaking your hands? Shake them hard, really vigorously. Only 10 more seconds. Now stop. What are you thinking about? You're thinking about how your hands feel. You're thinking about how your arms feel. You're thinking about how your body feels. You're thinking about how that was hard or how that felt invigorating. You're not thinking about how you were not able to relax. Check in. Are you relaxed? Another little cheat is to put your tongue on the roof of your mouth. If you put your tongue on the roof of your mouth and you try to be stressed, you're going to find it hard because all you can do is think about your tongue on the roof of your mouth. So you can't think about the things that are stressing you out. So those are a couple little tips on relaxing. Sending you so much love. Bye for now.